Hello everyone, this is episode 2 of Everything We Do is Magic, where we address the third arm of things here at Buckwheat Farms, Magic Emporium and Ballroom. That is magic. And magic is using your will to create your reality. And that involves many areas, many aspects. If you wonder how I got here, check out the link to the blog on my story. And I tell you how my path from a charismatic, religious Christian pastor to a chaos mage. It's I think you'll find it interesting. So today we'll talk about the first principle of the Kybalion. If you haven't read the Kybalion, it is the ancient wisdom of Hermes thrice Majestus, and it's a set of principles that explain how things work. And the interesting thing is that even though these are ancient wisdoms, the science that we're discovering now, and I'm talking about the real science, the quantum physics, are actually verifying much of what was said. Aleister Crowley says, "Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law under will." And part of that is understanding that magic is created to do our will. The Kybalion speaks of itself. It says, "The principles of truth are 7. He who knows these understandingly possesses the magic key before whose touch all the doors of the temple fly open." So what is the first of the 7 hermetic principles? The first principle is the all is mind. The universe is mental. And as I showed you last week with your first magic trick, fooled you, didn't I? Not really, because everything we do is influenced by thought. There's nothing that you can do without first thinking to do that. Try it. Try scratching your ear without thinking, I need to scratch my ear. Try saying something to someone without saying it. So actually what we call the present is really the past. It's already happened because it happened in our mind. And if it happens in your mind, it happens in reality because everything is mental. So one of the exercises that I use, because we're so inundated with crap from outside sources, is in my meditative practice. And that is one of the things you need to do. If you're going to practice magic, you're going to need to establish some type of meditation, whether that's meditation where you sit and and listen to meditative music or in silence, or whether it is conventional wisdom, i.e. religion, tells us that our will is somehow evil or wrong. How is that? A conventional wisdom, i.e. religion, tells you that magic is wrong. Now I want to ask you, who told you these things? Usually it's someone who's not practicing magic and is not working in accordance with their own will. The Bible itself even says that as a man thinks in his heart or in his inner being, his very innermost temple, so he is. And that's the first step, understanding who and what you actually are. It's a shamanic dance, something to get you outside of your own mental prison. Because in my meditation practice, that key is the question, whose thought is that? Whose idea is that? And 99% of the time, you'll find out that these ideas come from outside. And in my meditative practice, as those thoughts arise, I just acknowledge them. Yes, that's a thought, but it's not mine, and release them. And what happens is, as you begin to do that, you get a clarifying picture, a clear view of what your actual desire, what your actual thoughts are. And that's who and what are you? Have you ever studied or looked at the hologram? When you look at the hologram, you'll find that the entire piece is made up of tiny pieces, but each tiny piece has everything within the entire hologram upon it. It's funny because the tree of life in Kabbalah does the same thing. And as an avid, rabid, my wife would say, sustainable permaculturist, I come to understand that the entire tree is in the seed. So that because the universe is mental, the universe is thought, it is an infinite living mind, that because we are created from the same stuff as the universe, the same energy as the universe, that is actually our existence. So the first step to magic, and your first step down this road, is understanding and embracing the concept that you are exactly what you think you are. That you are not a physical being having a spiritual experience, but you are a spiritual being having a physical experience. And I'll leave you today with one quote, and this is a quote to always remember, because as much as this stuff seems to be nuts and bolts and serious and really important, it is important. In fact, the quote says this: we are much too important to take ourselves so seriously. See you next week when we'll talk about the second principle of Kabbalion. Namaste.